I'll move on to refreshing document topics. So remember, document topics are where you store your unit of competency information. It's where you record through use of what's called a topic form, a document topic form. You record the outcomes of the units for each individual student. So remember, we're going to do a bit of a review, and I want to go into detail, making sure that you understand where does the unit of competency fit in the sort of hierarchy of topics and formats and masters and everything else. Okay, so let's have a look see there. So we're going to do a bit of a review, as I mentioned. We're going to talk about the implications of a refresh. So implications of what you do when you refresh the topics at the different levels. We're going to talk about the steps taken to refresh. So this is about when you realize there's something wrong, something isn't quite right, something, for some reason, the wrong units or the units are on there, but they've got data that's incorrect and they've ended up not being what we would expect them to be. Usually it flows through nicely, but every now and then something happens, you go, what's happened here? So we're going to troubleshoot the topics, identifying what the errors might be. We're going to look at the format, check that that's as you expect. We're going to refresh the topics on the course date. We're going to refresh the topics on the documents, and we're going to confirm that document topics are updated. Those are the steps that we go through. I'm also going to talk about some common errors that we've seen that happen. Completely user errors, but that's okay. These user errors can occur, and talk about how we can solve those user errors as well. Okay, so let's review it. We're going to review units and topics. So you can see here, we've got the unit of competency is defined on the course module. Now, the course module is defined on the topic, okay, and the topic is defined in the format. Now, what happens is when we create a new course date, the topics are copied to the course date. Okay, so the topics from the format on the course master are copied to the course dates. So they're independent at that point. So any changes here will not have an effect here. Having said that though, if you do update your course module, which is not actually on your format and your topic are on your format, but your course module is a separate thing, that can be modified without affecting the course date. But if the topics are modified here, it won't have an effect here. Now what happens is when we create a document, at some point, at some step, and you can have a look at your steps to see when this happens, but some step, a process rule then copies the topics to the document. Okay, so the topics get copied to the document. And again, the document topics are independent of the course date topics. So modifying the course date topics will not have an effect on the document topics. Okay, so that's quite a bit of information to absorb, but let's see if we can keep that idea. I've got this diagram further on in the next presentation as well, because it's a useful one to show you what's happening and how this interconnectedness works. Okay, so what are the implications? What are the implications of refreshing the document topics? So this might remove the existing outcomes and the dates on topics. So any recorded results might be lost. Okay, so if you're going to copy existing outcomes and replace them, you're going to lose any recorded results. So just be aware of that. So doing that by mistake can have quite a drastic effect. Now, topics allocated from previous courses, for example, after a transfer, might be lost. So if you have someone who attends a training course, achieves a certain number of topics, partway through their course, they transfer to another course, you have a risk by replacing, that is removing everything that's there on the document and replacing it with new topics, you may remove the previous topics, okay? So just be aware of the impacts and keep a close eye. How many topics are listed there before the transfer? How many are listed after? Were there any that had outcomes before? And do they appear once we've transferred the student into the new course? So that's important to keep track of that during a transfer process. In most cases, you don't have to worry. In most cases, you're transferring people out before they've even attended any of the units and completed any of the units. So in that case, you don't have to worry so much. You can just remove them and just refresh them with the new document topics, okay? But if you do happen to have someone who's partway through a course, just be aware that you don't want to lose those. Now, outcomes will need to be applied to each document and each topic or unit, okay? So each of the topics will need to have the outcomes reapplied if you've transferred them across. So if you're transferring some across, they've got a few document topics there. That is to say, units they've been allocated, they've successfully passed. Keep a note of those. And when you transfer them across, if you're going to recreate the topics, make sure you then update the outcomes on that after that transfer. Now, statements of attainment may need to be resent, because if you're changing, let's say, for example, you decide, oh, actually, I had the wrong unit of competency on there. That unit of competency has been included in any statements of attainment that have been sent out. So you may need to reissue those statements of attainment with the correct with the correct units of competency. So let's troubleshoot some topics. Okay, so what we've got to do is we've got topics are to determine the units that appear on the statements of attainment, because the course modules are connected to the topics. And so as the topics are passed through, that their connection to the course module is also passed through. So the topics determine the units that appear on the statements of attainment. Now you view the topic on the course date. We're going to view the topic on the document. We're going to go through this process in a moment, how we do our troubleshooting, and we're going to identify the error. Okay, now the error might be, these are a few different errors that we might come across. We might find that the date or the times are incorrect. So the date or the times on the document topics don't actually match what we expect them to be. There may be inconsistent document topics compared to the course date topics. So if, for example, you look on the course date and you've got a certain number of document topics there, you may look on the document and go, hey, there's some missing, or there's some extra ones on there, or they just got the different names on there. And that's likely because a transfer from another course into this course, that checking of the document topics has not been carried out, and therefore you've got an inconsistency between the course date and the document topics. And some of you might have experienced this when you go and then try and update the document topics in bulk from the course date. And those document topics don't appear because they are out of sync. They're not the same as the ones that are on the course date, and therefore they're not going to come up at the course date level, and they have to be updated. Yes, you had this issue recently, Kane, exactly. And so you have to basically go in and modify, if you're not going to copy the course topics to the document, then you're going to have to go into the document and update those manually. And so just at a document level rather than at a course date level. And I think Kate's yet to go through all this excitement, but Kate, you'll, being a new RTO, once you get into the situation of having these topics created, it's quite a delicate operation to make sure that we don't lose data that's valuable, that's related to what a student has completed, while still maintaining the efficiency of being able to quickly update those units. Organizations that deliver courses such as first aid training organizations, or organizations who deliver responsive service of alcohol, they need to churn through these relatively quickly. So they need something quite efficient. They're only doing with single or double units of competency on a course, so they'll often copy the new document topics in from the course date prior to updating them, just to make sure they've all got the right unit of competency on them. And the next one is topic name or the unit is incorrect. So we'll talk about that too. Okay, so identifying error. Now, so we're going to view the topic on the course date. So this is viewing a course date and having a look at the course topics. You can see that we're looking at the course topics, and in this instance, we've noticed that the wrong year is on the course topics. Okay, this is actually an actual document topic from a customer, and they had an issue where there was a 2001 year, which of course is quite some time ago. They weren't even using course sales back then. So this is obviously, I'd say, a manual entry. Someone has manually created this course topic, and you can do that here if you've got access to add existing or add new. Adding a new course topic will create these errors. That's why we try and encourage people to allow this to be created. It does sound a bit complicated, Kate. It does sound a bit complicated, and trying to pick apart the document, because RTOs are complicated basically, and to be able to manage this, this is only when you have to, when things go wrong, this is when these become important, when things don't quite go as you expect. But hopefully, as you get to know the names and things, you'll become more familiar. So first of all, we look at the course date and we look at the course topics there. So in this instance, we've noticed that there's something wrong there. So the next step is for us to go, okay, it's wrong on the course date. What's the deal about the course, about the document? So let's have a look at the document and look at that. As we'd expect, those course topics have been copied to the documents. Okay, so these are the document topics, and the wrong date has been copied through here as well. Okay, and now we've got to say to ourselves, okay, so we've got a consistent problem here. It's coming from the course date, it's going to the document, it's causing a problem. Is it possible that there's a format issue? So this is what we're asking. Is there a format issue? We're trying to troubleshoot this to work out how do we fix this? So is there a format issue? Well, I can immediately tell you that there's not a format issue because I know that the dates are not determined by the format. The dates are determined by the course date. But you might not be familiar with that, or there might be another error. So you really need to go back and have a look at the format. So let's have a look at the format. And we look on the format and we have a look. You get to the format by clicking on Publish, clicking on Edit if you're editing the course date already, or you can find it by looking at the format list. And when we look at it, we go, actually, it looks okay. Look, it's just got day 1 there. It doesn't specifying the year. Everything looks pretty good here in the format. The error is definitely not coming from the format. Okay, so it looks good. Looks good here. So what we need to do in this instance, in this case, we really need to update the course date manually, the course date topic. So we go back to the course date and we click on the edit button. Okay, so I'll just show you where this is. I'm just going to go back a couple of steps. We're on the course date. I'm going to click on this edit button. This edit button is again to allow me to change these dates because we've ascertained that the problem is at the course date level. So let's go forward again. Okay, so we're going to edit this. And now we've got this ability to update the date. You can see there, I've updated the dates to 2020. I'm also going to be requested to save a document, a topic description, and a trainer. These are mandatory fields that are not there currently. So I'll have to select a topic description and select a trainer. Once I've done that, I can click on OK, and that will update this information. So now my course topics are correct, which is good. Course topics are good. That's great. So the next step is to refresh the course topics. This is if we needed to. So we've done that. So you've got 2 options. Like I said, you've got 2 options. You can do this, which is updating this particular topic. Okay, so this is your one option: update the particular topic and then move forward. Or you have the option of refreshing the course topics. Okay, so refreshing the course topics means effectively copying them from the master onto the course date. So this is the other way of doing it. So if you don't edit the existing course topic, copy it from the master to the course date. Now this requires manage permissions, and it's only going to be copied to those scheduled courses. And you've got to be careful if you go and overwrite existing, just be aware that you're going to be removing all of the existing course topics. Now, usually that's not a problem. It's usually not a problem. This is a fairly safe activity to do because the likelihood is you don't care if you overwrite your existing course topics. Okay, your course topics are not so valuable because they're only held there until they get copied onto the document topics. So we can click on override existing if we need to, which I think we would in this case, and we can copy to course dates. Once we've done that, either of those steps, we now know that we've got the correct data on the course date. So the course topics are correct. So you may need to listen to the video a couple of times, but the course topics are correct. So once we've updated the course date topics, we use the copy to documents from the course date. That's the function here. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually available in your license, Kate. So I know that definitely overwrite existing, we tend to try and remove because in this case, overwrite existing can have quite a dramatic effect on your existing documents. Overwriting the existing document topics can have a big effect on the documents that are on that particular course date. Now, if you've got courses that deliver just single units of competency, it's not such a big impact. If you're delivering qualifications, which have maybe up to 20, 30 units of competency on a document, because there are 20 or 30 units of competency expected to be completed by a student, overwriting the existing ones effectively means deleting everything that they've got on their document. Now, that can be a relatively painful activity. and if you need to then fix that because you've done that by mistake, you may need to get a backup that we have. Now, there is a cost for that, okay? So do really think carefully about when you want to overwrite existing document topics. Be very careful about it. Feel free to contact us and ask us for advice about doing that and whether that's the right thing to do. So we can overwrite the existing. In this case, that's what we would do. And then we've got to go to the document topics and check that it's been updated correctly. And here we go. Look, it's got the 2020 on it now. But be aware, as you can see here, the outcome details have been lost. Okay, so while we used to have a successful pass on this, we now no longer have that, and we have to go through these particular document topics and update them with the right information. So how about some common errors? So let's tell you some common errors in case you come across these. You can review this this video. Manually created topic is wrong. That's what happened in this scenario. The scenario I just showed you was someone manually created a topic and they gave it the wrong year. So the solution in that is to link to existing topic or update topic and train staff not to create topics manually. You're better off not creating topics manually because there's too many opportunities for errors. Okay, too many opportunities for errors. Another error might be that the format has the wrong unit on a topic. Now, you might need to update it on the format. Okay, so update the format. This is a solution, and copy new topics to scheduled course dates from the master. Okay, now it is possible that there are some existing documents that have also attributed or accumulated that incorrect topic. If that's the case, you may need to also copy it to the document topics as well. But initially, at least copy new topics to scheduled course dates from the master. The unit has been superseded but not updated. Okay, so that is effectively saying we've got a superseded unit and we've been using it, but we didn't update it within course sales, and we really should have. Okay, so what we suggest you do is start the transition by adding a new topic to the format and then remove the old one once you're no longer delivering that old unit of competency. So remove the course module and the topic from the format once you're now delivering the new topic. And that'll be part of your process of when a new topic comes along, when a new unit comes along, you need to update your course materials, you need to get your trainer up to speed, you need to notify students, you need to make sure that any students who have yet to complete that existing unit are able to do so. There's a whole lot of steps that you have to go through to make sure the transition from an old topic to a new topic is going to be smooth. And part of that is making sure you've added that new topic onto your format. So when you do award it, you're awarding it to people who have actually attended a course that's taught them that new topic. A transfer in document has a different topic. Okay, so that can happen when you transfer, as we talked about before, transferring a document from one course to another course, and the units have followed that document, and now they are sitting on a course and it doesn't quite line up. It's not quite correct. So the solution there is replace the topic or manually or update manually, and then train staff to manually remove topics at the transfer. So consider a transfer something that you really should keep a close eye on. Have a look at the units that you're transferring from, have a look at the units transferring to, and make sure you've removed or added the new ones as necessary. It should mostly happen automatically, but sometimes it doesn't quite happen that way. Okay, so that's about refreshing document topics. And like I say, you can go to our YouTube channel, you can go to guides, and of course you can have a look at any of these support tickets. Going to the wizard, looking at support tickets, raising an issue via chat, or using the contextual help files. So yeah, so Kane's saying he manually removes the topic at transfer process for staff. Yep, definitely for staff to do that. That's a pretty good idea. In fact, it'd be good to hear your views. Kane, can I just unmute you? Just give me more information about your experience with managing. It can be a bit complicated, can't it?
All right. Can you hear me?
I can indeed. Yeah, go for it. Share with Kate your wisdom.
Okay. So, Kate, some of the mistakes that we made when transferring students just not knowing what we were doing, I suppose, was that we were transferring students from one course to another. We offer single unit RSA. We went from the 15th to the 20th. And the problem was that when the student got moved to the 20th, their document topic had the date of the 15th on it. And then to try and manually delete, remove, upload, we didn't know what we were doing. After speaking to Scott, who was very helpful with helping us what to do, the best process was, as we transfer a student, you scroll down, manually remove the document topic, then they get moved into a new course, which when they go into the new course, it automatically puts the new date with the correct document topic on there. And with a bit of training, it didn't take long. All our staff know exactly what to do now, and it's made life a lot easier.
Let's see if Kate would like to respond.
Yeah, that sounds like once you know what you're doing, it's all okay.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I think it's one of the most complicated areas of managing an RTO is keeping track of the units of competency and I mean I don't know. You got more to say, Kane?
I was going to say it's a steep learning curve, but once you sort of get it and understand which way things work, Kate, you'll work better, more efficiently at it, and you've always got like Scott there to assist with it. So even though you might find it's a bit daunting, once you figure it out, you can move on fairly easily from there.
Yeah, it just sounds like training, really.
Yeah.
And once, as you say, you've got to learn, so you've got to practice it. And once you do it a couple of times, you learn from your mistakes. So.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, we are looking at ways of making this work better. And I don't mean to scare Kane, but we're actually looking at transfer. We've been looking at transfer for the past sort of 3 or 4 months. And we've been talking with the developers about how to make it more efficient. And one of the options we're looking at, particularly for organizations like Kane's, is actually making it so that the topics are automatically removed when you do a transfer. So when you do the transfer, you don't have to manually go in there and remove the topics if you decide to. So this is an option that you can configure the system to actually remove the topics as you do the transfer and add the topics in as you do the transfer. So, and there's a few other things about transferring and dealing with document topics that we've been looking at modifying. So, so that's actually going to be coming in the next release, which we're in the throes of doing the testing for. So keep your eyes and ears out for that, and I'll do a tutorial about how that is going to work now, and hopefully it's going to save you all some pain and make your lives easier.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, I'll move on to. I've got some questions coming up now, so you guys can test yourselves. Okay, so I'll just mute you again. So feel free.
You should mute us just in case we get it wrong.
Okay. Okay, so these are brain teasers almost. If a course topic is constantly incorrect for multiple course date, where is the error likely to be? So if the course topic is constantly, because the course topic's found on the course date, if it's constantly incorrect for multiple course dates, where is the error likely to be? So remember, think about where does the information for the course topic comes from? It comes from the format at the course master. So it must therefore be the format on the course master. So as it says here, as the course dates are created from the format, when the format is corrected, future course dates should be corrected. It is possible that someone is systematically, manually modifying each course date. That is to say, every time a course date is created, they quickly go in and modify it, and therefore it's not the format. It's some sort of person who thinks that they're doing the right thing by making modifications, but it's unlikely. Okay, so next question. If just one course date is incorrect, what should be done? What should we do if just one course date out of a number of course dates is incorrect? What should we do? Should we go and modify the format? Probably not necessary, because the likelihood is that the format, if the format's producing the correct course dates, in some cases, then it's quite likely it's going to be a manual modification that someone's done, okay? So if there is just one of many course dates incorrect, perhaps it was mistakenly updated and needs to be adjusted. Okay. What is an implication of copying course topics to all current documents and overwriting existing? Is it that the outcomes and activity dates are lost? Is the format updated? Is there no implication? Or is the statement of attainments are sent automatically? That's correct, yes. The outcomes and activity dates are lost. Yes, the outcomes are lost if recorded. Be sure to get a record of them before you replace them. So you can even just do, a good way to do it is just do a couple of screenshots. I find that really useful. If you're not sure what's going to happen, but you haven't got much time, take a screenshot, do your activity, review it, and if it's wrong, go, okay, I've got a screenshot, email it to yourself, go, I've got to fix this up if you can't do it right there and then. Or then at least you've got a record of what you've got to update. So what happens to documents if course topics from the course master are copied to schedule, course date, and overwritten? Now have a good think about this. What happens to, and keep that diagram in your mind. You know that diagram of the units in the course modules, in the course, in the documents, in the course dates, blah, 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 you know, all the way up to the format in the course master. So what happens to documents if course topics from the course master are copied to scheduled course dates and overwritten? So the answer here is nothing. Nothing happens to the documents. Nothing at the documents will be changed by course topics from the course master copied to scheduled course dates and overwritten. Nothing happens at that point. It doesn't matter. It's okay to copy to your course dates. It will not have an effect on the documents. Just copying course topics to the course dates does not affect the document. When the course topics are copied to the documents, however, they could be replaced. Okay, so if the course topics are being copied to the documents, that's when there's a replacement of data, a loss of data. Okay, so here's an activity. Again, this is a fairly large amount of work to do, so I'm not going to expect you to do it now. So I want you to add a new topic to an existing format, copy this to the scheduled course dates without overwriting, and then copy course topics to documents without overwriting. And then find out, can you see the new document topic on the documents? You should be able to. And if you want to be careful, you can set up a new course master, which is a test course master with a test format and a test document module as well, and document topics. Okay, so you can always set up a complete test course. Now you don't have to worry about this. It won't be reported on for eventmas, okay? Because if it doesn't have the eventmas data in, it won't be reported on. And if you want to, you can just inactivate the course master, and it's therefore not even going to be touched. It's not even going to appear in your lists anymore. So I always find it useful to have one of these course masters set up that I can test things out on, create a new step, see if it works. If it does, honky-dory. If not, then go back to the drawing board. So for an advanced step, add a superseded unit as a topic, format topic, then remove the old one from the format. Does the old one still exist on documents, on completed courses? Okay, so add a superseded unit as a format topic, then remove the old one from the format. Does the old one still exist on documents, on completed courses? And they should. Okay, so removing a topic from a format should have no effect on the documents because they are independent. Okay, you should be able to do that. And I know you can do that. You can definitely do that. They're completely separate. Okay, that's it. So, feel free to visit the channel. Now, this is one more topic to cover.